Thank you very much. Just to a little bit more about myself, and as I get started, I will contribute $20 to the bucket. Rotary is very much in my blood. Many of you, I was speaking to a few of you this morning when I got here. My father, Dave Toby, was an old Illinois Power area manager down here in East Alton Wood River. We were here until the year of '79 when we moved away to Decatur, Illinois. But this was my home, East Alton Wood River, so I am excited to be here. Rotary, as I said, growing up, my father was very involved with the Wood River Rotary. He was a past president of the Wood River Rotary. When I became involved in the community of Edwardsville back in 2003, I joined Goshen Rotary up there. I'm a past president of Goshen Rotary and a past Paul Harris Fellow. So I commend all of you for all your great things that you do in this community. And one of the things my father taught me as a young child, starting here because I was born in Granite and spent my first 10 years in East Alton Wood River, was to give back to the community. And that is very, very important, to give back to the community that you live in. And so I'm going to kind of, before I start really talking about Faith in Action, I'm going to take you on a journey of what got me to Faith in Action. Okay? As I told you, Keith Toby is my father, Mary Toby is my mother. Pillars of the community here in East Alton for a while, then Decatur, then Jacksonville eventually, where they retired. Dad passed away in 2011. And left my mom a widow, but Mom was very dependent that she was going to stay an independent woman and going to stay living in Jacksonville, Illinois. I was the closest sibling. I was down in Edwardsville. My brother Pat was in Kansas City. My other brother Mike was up in Chicago, and then my sister Cynthia was out on the East Coast. And so the first 6 months, Mom really tried to be that independent woman. But after being married for 60 years to the same person who she devoted her life to, she decided very quickly that that was not going to be possible to stay independent. So she made the decision to move. And she made the decision to move to an area that was comfortable and familiar to her. So she came back down here to be by me. Where I was happy to have her, I made it very clear to her that, you know, Mom, I'm the youngest of the family. I'm the one that still has children at home. I'm still running my children. I'm very, very involved. I don't have time to devote just 100% to you. And I said, my other siblings, they're in different parts of their life. Mom says, I understand. I just need to be close to one of the kids. I said, come on down. I'm happy to have you. Well, very first day that she moved in, she said, what time are we going to church on Sunday? I said, well, we usually go to 5:30. Well, no, I don't go to 5:30. I need to go to 10 o'clock Mass. Mom, that doesn't work with our schedule. We've got soccer. We've got this. So you're not taking me to church? And I thought, oh my, here we go. So for the next couple of years, we played that tug and war, back and forth, because she decided she couldn't drive in Edwardsville. That was too big of a town from where she came from in Jacksonville. She didn't know the road. She didn't know what to do. So all of a sudden now, she couldn't get to the doctor. She couldn't get to the grocery store. She couldn't get to here. She couldn't get to church. Oh my goodness, it was very, very frustrating. She had moved to Eaton Retirement Village, is where they had chosen to, where Mom had chosen to move. And so the administrator of Eaton said, Dave, you really need to check out Faith in Action. You need to find out what they are, in the services. And I said, Faith in Action? What can they do for me? Well, that's how I became involved, or became knowledgeable of what Faith in Action is. Faith in Action is an organization that services the Edwardsville-Glen Carbon School District, and they provide services for seniors. And the main service that we provide to the seniors is transportation. We allow them to stay independent in their homes And we take them to their doctor's appointment. We take them to their hair appointment, to their grocery stores, all the little errands they need to run. But the neat thing, that's what we provide. But we provide so much more to those seniors. Because when I had the time to take my mom to the doctor, I was always thinking, I've got this appointment at work, and I've got this, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. And Mom would be wanting to talk. I didn't have time to talk to her. I was spending time taking her to the doctor. That's what I was doing. Don't talk to me. I've got to do work. And it was just creating so many conflicts within the family. When you have a volunteer that comes to pick my mom up and to take my mom to the doctor, that volunteer's focus is on my mom. That volunteer focus is spending time with my mom. And so that whole interaction was a heck of a lot more healthier than the interaction I was having with her. Because then once I got done with the doctor and I got her back there, I didn't want to go see her that evening. I didn't want to go see her that weekend because I'd done it already. Okay? So once Faith in Action became part of our lives, it made the relationship much healthier between me and my mom. Now, not all services are like that within Faith in Action. A lot of times we have seniors that have been living in Edwardsville-Glen Carbon their whole entire life, and now their family is in Kansas City and in Chicago and in Virginia, and they have no one to take them to the doctor, to take them. And so then they struggle with that. Faith in Action steps in at that point and becomes that catalyst that be able to keep them independent and keep them in their home. So as the journey went with my mom, she utilized Faith in Action services for 18 months until the year of 2014, when she was unfortunately diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. Mom is still with us, but she's now in a long-term skilled care. But I came back to Faith in Action because Faith in Action reached out to me about 3 years ago and said, you know, we're looking for board members. And I had to give back at that point because of everything that they had given to our family. So Faith in Action is a nonprofit organization. It is actually a national organization that has local chapters. There are 3 local chapters in this area. There is a very active one in Collinsville. There is the one that's in Edwardsville-Glen Carbon, and then there was one in Granite City. And we provide services of transportation, respite care. We will come in and visit with seniors if that's what they're needing. We will do small little odd jobs around the house. But as that population continues to grow, which is only going to continue to grow, it is a challenge for us because we're going to be in the next few years looking to expand our service base, possibly expand our service area, because right now our service area is just the District 7 school district, but we have volunteers. We have 275 individuals that use our service. So that's 275 care receivers, as we call them, and then we have 95 volunteers. So our volunteer base is of 95 people, and we do have people in the East Alton Wood River area that volunteer for us because they are looking to be able to give back to that demographic of an aging senior. So you know, we do a background check on all of our volunteers. We after they go through the background check, we put them through an orientation, and then it is a matter of, as long as you have valid insurance and a working car, then you can transport a senior. We will take them. We don't really have a mile limitation. We have seniors that we take over to St. Louis. We had one senior and we still do, that we take up to Springfield, Illinois for a doctor's appointment. And it is all done on a volunteer basis. We do provide gas cards. If our volunteer is looking to be somewhat reimbursed for their mileage, we will provide quarterly gas cards for them. But most of our seniors don't look for that. So just a few statistics that is In the year of 16, we did a total 1,260 drives for a total of, or hours were a total of 2,551 hours, and the miles that were driven for Faith in Action in the year of 16 was 29,599 miles. As we look at 17, we don't have all of the data in yet for 17, but our request for services were already at the end of October at 1,175. So our average is 128 services a month that we are providing. And then our hours for service were all the way at 2,656, which is more already with still 2 months to go. So an average of 266 hours a month that we are volunteering. And then the real staggering one is we were already surpassed the 29,000 miles. We were at 30,312 miles for a total of 3,031 miles a month that we're driving, and that is just through the end of October. So once we get the November and December data in there, it just shows how much the services are needed in the area and what the demand is. In this year of 17, we brought on 68 new care receivers. And that's unfortunately, it is that number constantly changes, that 275 number, because unfortunately we do have deaths that happen very often, and then we have new people coming. So that number just continues to grow. And then our volunteers, that is where we really struggle, because as our services are increasing, we need to keep increasing our volunteers. We have a lot of retired people that do our volunteering for us, not all retired. But then, of course, they're seasonal at times, because some like to go down to the warm climate that I've heard other people mention. So they head down to the warmer climates, and then they can't volunteer for us. So we are an organization that also believes that we give back into the community that we are living in, because we want to give back to the community that is so generous to us. So we do a lot of volunteering in the community as a nonprofit. We participate with Restore Decor, which some of you might be familiar with, which is the furniture store that sells secondhand furniture. We also do this free Friday lunch. We sponsor one free Friday lunch a quarter with First Emmanuel Church in Edwardsville. We do just different things to keep our name out there in front of everybody. So you're wondering, how does all of this work funding-wise? We have three main funding sources. Our main source is the state of Illinois, which is kind of scary at times. Along with that, we do get a grant from United Way, and then the Alton Women's Home is very generous to us. We're a benefactor of one of their grants, a yearly grant that they provide. And then the rest of it is purely based on donations from the community, individually, church, and corporate. We do one major fundraiser every other year. This past year was the year that we did our fundraiser, which was an auction gala dinner dance. We raised about $50,000 in that event, and that is enough, coupled with the donations and everything like that, that we don't have to have a yearly fundraiser. We're able to keep it on a rotation of every other year. We have three staff. Marcia Golden, who is our executive director, who usually does these presentations, but she's, for some reason, in Colorado. Why you would go to Colorado, I don't know, but that's where she's at. So she's in Colorado, and then we have two office people, Kendra Moffitt and Corey Giberson. So they, the scheduling is done all electronically now. Now, of course, the population that we're servicing, they don't have the computers and the capacity, so they still call in. But then we input that onto an interface website that is cloud-based, and then our volunteers go out there, log in, and they look to see what is available, and that's how they select their drives. that they are willing to do. It is the program that we're now using is mobile based also, so you can pull your appointment up on your phone and select, okay, this is the address I'm going to, and Google Earth will bring you right to the house and show you what the house is going to look like that you're going to, and then wherever the destination is, it will do the same, and it will give you a picture showing where you're going. So that is very helpful for our volunteers, because a lot of times they would get in the car with the senior, and the senior really would have no idea where they're going. So the technology that we've enacted in this past year has really helped out in that regard. So, we have a board of about 15 individuals. They are comprised of retired individuals. We have myself as a banker, we have an attorney, we have a financial planner, we have different professions within the community that we broadened our board over the last couple of years to solidify the board.